game. Who do you think SVG is going to come out on top? We kind of have a feel for this leaderboard now, but I feel like it's shifted quite a bit.
So I have to shout out Cammy and Seti. They've consistently stayed within that top 10. You know, they haven't been making the massive elim games, but consistently making the final zones, allowing themselves to stay in the game every single time. And it is that play style that has made them such a great duo throughout the course of Fortnite. And now we're seeing it right here in Zero Build.
That we are. And we're seeing, honestly, again, some of the most entertaining games that I've watched in quite some time. It's fun to see some of these items back in play here in Fortnite, and Zero Build makes that possible. So, but as we talk about it, some of the action already unfolding, and I believe this is actually one of the first times I've seen the revolver used here.
Yeah, we're seeing this fight. Hey, it just happened to be the first weapon that Dokian was able to find. Yesterday, there wasn't a fight happening here. Today, Rocket Reels has been active. These two duos have been going back and forth, trying to claim this as their own. Neither one necessarily coming out on top, but another place that we have to watch out for is Daily Bugle, as we see Falconer and Arkram return, as well as Mitro and Milan, both players coming into Bugle after Jelty and Vico have pretty much claimed this as their own.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? I feel like Jelty and Vico definitely had a way better day one, but their performance here in day two is still exceptional. They do still seem to be winning the off-spawn engagements. They have the upper hand here in the Daily Bugle, but we have seen a lot more of Arkram and Falconer there in the final moments of these games, because I believe we just saw their first in-game in the last one.
Yeah, and we do see them able to secure a good amount of points. I believe they had 34 in the last match, so we know that they're capable, and they're finally figuring out the Zero Builds, how they want to play it, getting off spawn, but quickly, Andalex is finding the elimination, walking on over and taking out Mitro very quickly. We haven't seen those heavy snipe plays in a while, but working here right in this early game.
Working here exceptionally well. Look, the heavy sniper is such a staple weapon in Zero Builds that I'm excited to see it used as heavily as it has been. But now, Malabuka, looking sharp. You see the burst assault rifle in hand. The legendary heavy sniper, 6 chug splashes and 6 shockwave nades. This loadout is by far the ideal loadout for Zero Build.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of players differ between the burst rifle and the hammer. It's an interesting choice. We've also seen the combat AR used, but I feel like less so, because these players are more comfortable with the burst AR and the hammer. Now we're tuning back into the Bugle here. A team that performed incredibly well on both days. Pink and Anash just peeking in, seeing what's going on here. Gonna wind up backing on out, using the flare gun, getting that information. UAV inbound, and nothing gonna be found.
Nothing going to be found. Look, it was actually kind of an interesting play, and it speaks to them as veteran players. Pink and Anash went up to the top there to look for shots down in Bugle, because they know of the fights that are happening there in Bugle. But speaking of fights happening around the map, it's actually Tripperin, one of our top players, getting punished by Acorn here. Again, speaking to the value in that burst assault rifle. Man, when that thing hits, it hits.
Definitely does. Tripperin, after a couple of great games here today, him and Hellfire in a poor position, gonna throw down that Portafort, try and get them in. Acorn knows he's in the bush. He sees the keg being used, but he's gonna keep firing shots on over there, hoping to hit some. Lucky for Tripper and Hellnada, they're going to be able to calm down for a second, take a break, because Acorn has stopped firing away. Now we do see a duo that you've been quite fond of, Epic Whale and Malabuka, moving through the same area. Tripper and Hellfire not looking in the best position. I mean, this loadout tells me that they were forced out of their early drop spot and made to do something different that they didn't necessarily want to do. Now we're tuned in, Edgy Acorn. These two, great day one. Haven't necessarily seen it here on day two. What do you think they could do here on day two to step up their performance in the back half of the day?
Well, going into this game, they were in 12th place, right? So the big thing for them here is, number one, they haven't gotten a victory royale. You know, the amount of points you get from that VR is super important, and all of the placement in general. has definitely made an impact on the leaderboard. Now, on top of that, it's those elimination points. 2 points per elimination. That's why we see how effective Epic Whale and Malibuca have been, finding themselves in second place. No victory royales, but it's heavily been on the back of those eliminations.
That's a great point. Now we're tuning in with Steno and Lucy. If you guys are wondering what their strategy is, we just saw it right there. Throwing the cow catcher on top as we see Fatch go down there to Creo and Ron. But Lucy, Steno, very consistent, have rarely had issues. Just last game, or 2 games ago, they fell early. Haven't really had many early game issues, but now we're tuning in. This is a fight that we didn't expect to happen at Tilted Towers. Both players seemed comfortable, but Edgy is not comfortable right now. He gets tagged up big. Bad Sniper's gonna continue to search for those shots. Him and Acorn gonna get back together. Acorn's got his teammates back, but Verstache is there as well, and the big beam's coming through. That's a double elim, and both players putting in the work.
Yeah, you saw there. It looked like Merstache actually kind of
little body block.
Body blocked Bad Sniper there. Unfortunate in that situation, but fortunate for Acorn and Edgy. This is going to be the huge advantage they needed. We talked just moments ago about what they needed to be successful, what that game looked like, and so far they're starting to live up to that. So 2 eliminations on the board and 2 eliminations on some of the best players in the lobby by far.
Yeah, it's definitely no slouch of a duo there as we tune in. See Scram and Andalex sitting up top. They're trying to find Amar and Vadil, actually trying to bait them out with an impulse themselves and see where these 2 players are. Amar and Vadil playing this patiently though, not looking to get involved in this fight. Nonetheless, Andalex and Scram say, no way, if you're near us, we're gonna shoot at you. And Amar, Vadil gonna back on out, use that rift, force themselves to go to a different position. Nice little play by Scram and his duo Andalex to push them away and allow themselves to hold this space.
Holding the space, right? That's one thing Amar hasn't necessarily done up until this point. They seem to not be able to position themselves ideally. And I think that's what's hurt them so far. However, with 3 games remaining here, including this one, there's still a lot of opportunity to put some big points up on the board. And teams like Draftel and Kai, they know this, they understand this, and that's why they're rocking probably one of my favorite loadouts here on the day. You see that? You got 2 rifts, shockwaves, and also, I believe that was a Mythic Combat Assault Rifle. That thing, when it connects, it connects.
Definitely does. That's how you put out the damage quickly. Interesting to see how the games have developed over the past day or 2. We saw the games moving much faster, ending in 6th, 7th zone, and then everyone kind of looked and saw what Steno and Lucy were doing. They're like, I could definitely do that. And now we've seen that go through, but it looks like Vico and Chelty were able to pick up Vadil there, likely grabbing Amar as well. So even though they're running away from Scram and Andalex, another duo comes right in and cleans them up.
But we got to see where this zone is going to pull, right? It doesn't look like it's potentially going to pull too far south. I think this is going to be one of those central zones like we were talking about yesterday. And sure enough, it actually pulls over here towards Risky. So it's going to be interesting to see how these players are able to play this out. But there are quite a few that are already in zone. So lucky for them that they're there, but unlucky for a team here who's still in storm. It's actually Adapter and his teammate. And it looks like they were actually shooting towards Amar in the distance. So Amar has been able to make it out of there. And honestly, he has the loadout to be successful in this game.
Definitely. The escape artist himself. I don't know what happened to Vadil earlier, but Amar just gonna move on, try and play this as a solo, go back for the card. Now we're seeing what's going on over at Greasy Grove, where Vino and Aqua sitting on top. A lot of the top tier European players all right in this area, as Tayson and Thomas looking for shots on Vino and Aqua. Zone's gonna force them to go over to the east, so don't want to be stuck in this fight too long. Although, Panda, we've seen a lot of players playing in the storm, waiting and rotating later rather than going early, because from what we've seen, that is the more successful path. Going late, not getting in engagements, but, you know, as more players start to do that, that could also wind up being an issue, because these players now are going to run into other players in Storm, and we see another team waiting up here with a far zone, Queasy and Hen just sitting on top of Thomas, or Trippern, and Helnata.
You know what's interesting to me is that I don't think in any tournament that I've personally been a part of have I seen such evolution from playstyles, game to game to game. It seems like it's just consistently changing. And so it's kind of interesting how that's playing out. But even like Thomas HD and Tayson, for example, going into the day, very great start. They were top 10 in the first 3 games. It looked like they were set up for success. But now, going into this game, they're in 28th. That is the definition of a fall from grace.
Tayson grabs Vino there. There's the knock they were looking for.
That's exactly what they needed to get back into this. They need that momentum shift, right? They know that they're down, but they're not out. Speaking of not out, though, it's Malabuka and Epic Whale, our second place team, jumping here onto a team, but they're actually now going to steal a great position. But not only that, they got the chug barrel.
Yeah, able to peek and not only getting the chug barrel, possibly getting that elimination, but Edgy just takes out Steno. That is one of the first place players. Lucy goes down too. First place falls early in this game, and now there is a massive opening for first and second to steal that top spot. It's only less than 20 points between first, second, and third.
It's actually 7 points. There is only 7 points from first to second. It is so close here. So all Epic Whale and Malabuka have to do in this game is stay alive. And if we know they know how to do anything, it's that.
And we are seeing this fight develop in the storm almost exactly as I expected. Queasy and Hen right on top of Tripper and Co, waiting for their opportunity to get some big tags. Queasy and Hen have taken a number of fights here in Storm. We saw it yesterday. We're seeing it once again here today. Tripper and Hellfire are separated from one another, which makes this very difficult. Kind of just have to wait it out. Hope Hen and Queasy rotate in the zone because you don't want to take a 2v1 in this situation. They are top tier players and will be able to out-aim you since there's 2 of them.
Yeah, and look, if there's any 2 that you want to go up against in this lobby, that combined aim between the 2 of them is just impeccable. But regardless of the situation, it does look like Queasy Hen just going to opt to trying to get in the zone here, which is smart because you spend too much time here in the storm and you're going to run into that storm sickness. So that's definitely going to play a huge role in this, but let's see. We actually see them coming into zone now, but where will the zone present itself? That's the question.
It's been an interesting strategy. I've seen them do this in a different game. They use that rift to go, so they're flying in right as the next zone appears. So I guess the hope is that they are expecting players to wait and then start looking at that next zone, because as soon as it appears, they're entering and then able to get themselves a better rotate. But here comes Vidil. He's going to be coming back with a Mar. They're a little far from zone, but they'll be able to make it. And same thing with Fatch, making a late rotate with Carry after they went down earlier, going to be able to get back, hopefully, with some vehicles and the help of movement.
I'm going to be honest. Daily Bugle, that's a far pull. So it's definitely going to be tough for them to rotate. But for teams that it won't be tough, it is Epic Whale. Malabuka set up really nicely here in this Port-a-Fort. And it doesn't look like they're getting challenged too much. This is kind of a different story than we've seen played out here with these Port-a-Forts. I remember the first part of yesterday, every time a Port-a-Fort appeared, that became the focus of the lobby, right? Now we see it changing here. I feel like less players are focusing on the Port-a-Forts and more players are focusing just staying on the edge and just trying to make it in last minute so they know that there's nobody behind them.
Definitely changing, like you mentioned. The meta is developing, but another development is Mansoor and FHD now having to pop that rift and put themselves into a different position. I mean, we've seen a number of teams climb the ranks. One of them is Siyun and King, having a great second day here. They were actually the ones putting pressure on Mansoor and FHD at first. Then another duo came in, and we do see Fatch fall there in the feed, so unlikely they will be able to make it in the storm. Now, the rotates start to come in as third zone closes. Everyone's trying to find their position in zone and hope that nobody else forces them out.
That's the hope, right? And that you can only do so much in these situations. But now it is Kakarot sitting in the vehicle. And I don't think Polga realized that huge shots come through, and it's actually going to be Kakarot who ends up going down. So now Polga, Leo going to be able to take the vehicle. This is going to be huge for them because we've seen how impactful these trucks have been in the in-game.
Yeah, no hitchhikers allowed in this lobby. Polga, Leo quickly take him out. Now we do see Pilkey coming in on this backside of Storm. His duo is down. He's going to have to hope that he gets blessed by this airdrop, and he does actually. This is a wonderful pull, if I may say so myself. He has no vehicle, so going to drop that repair torch. Focus on the rotate, and oh, not only is he going to get the drop, but he's also going to get that super chest as well.
Hey, listen, I'd probably turn around for that chest too. I'm not even gonna lie. But look at Polga, set up actually really, really well. So for those at home that don't understand, they have got the truck here on the side of the rock, which means it's less likely that not only is somebody gonna see them, but it's gonna see their vehicle. So they don't have to worry about repairing it too much within this time frame, because you know, the more you can save those vehicles for the later parts of the game, the more they'll be useful. But looking at useful, it's Tayson picking up some eliminations. This is probably by far one of the better games they've had throughout this entire tournament.
Yeah, able to see a solo by himself, quickly jump on that. Down goes Queasy. Now it's gonna be a Pink and a Nas trying to jump on Hen to clean this one up. We're gonna see Hen try and get out of here very quickly. Pink and Anas able to secure this elimination. Hen's gonna be playing this as a solo from here on out. Not only that, but Anas and Pink are gonna get even more stacked with all this extra loot sitting behind them. And they also have Zone pulling on top of their head. So Fort Zone going to pull to them. As we see the other side of Zone, Tayson and Thomas looking how they want to make their rotate, because you can't build up this mountain. You either have to go up and around with the zip line, or just left foot, right foot, the way we see Redley and Polga on that side. So contested, or try and find a way up.
That's the question. And it's funny, this is probably one of the hardest zones to have in zero build, because once people set themselves up on these hills, it's so hard to contest and do something. And that's what we actually see here from King. He tried there with his teammate to take over the porta fort, and unfortunately it is going to lose his teammate, and now up in the air with very little health left on him.
We see Tripper getting focused as well, so this fight that looked good is now focusing a lot of pressure. All eyes are on this porta fort as it continues. They're putting a lot of shots in. No eliminations coming through, but the chop out is going to come through. There's 3 different duos, and quickly we see Tripper and Hellfire use that rift. This is a great play to get themselves out of a focused situation, and now get to redecide where they want to go.
Yeah, and looking at this, it's questionable where you can land, but sure enough, decides to land on another team there. Potentially could take that fight, but Tripper and Hellnada hanging out here, just being patient. This is actually what you want to see from a lot of these teams, especially a team like them who's in the top 3.
Yeah, they have to take advantage of the opportunity when they see a top player go down, but another top player going down is Tayson and Thomas. May not be at the top of the leaderboard, but definitely one of the top players in Fortnite. We see Creo and Ron getting pressured from down below. They're trying to play on the edge of this zone with their porta fort, but someone continues to heavy snipe them out, not allowing them to get it comfortable. And we see how many duos are chilling right in this spot, waiting for zone. Now Fifth is gonna pull up to the north, and everyone has to begin their rotates.
It's interesting. You see Knight and Shark here just hanging out patiently, but I'm surprised with the players so close to them, no one's realized that they're there. Or if they do realize they're not doing anything about it. So it'll be interesting to see how they rotate from here. But Kovacs now on the high ground, looking to punish any players around that area. And as I say, punishment, Anas showing up with the heavy snipe, a huge tag there in the distance. Isn't going to be able to finish it off, but what a way to start a fight.
And you know, Anas and Pink could do something special here. They're 51 points behind. We've seen 2 62-point games and 1 61-point game. So it is by no means out of the question that they will be able to take first place. We'll have to see them do it, as we see Acorn gets a double elimination there. They're putting pressure there onto the second place team.
No.
Those are some big shots coming through. Quickly throwing down the porta fort once again to protect themselves. Now we see Bizzle looking down below, trying to see if anybody's up above. Let's take in his own elim, and gonna continue to look for some loot. Lake trying to stay alive, using these shockwaves just to run around the lobby. Him and Scope staying together, trying to get back together for the time being, and they do, but it's Knight and Rope Shark getting involved. They're looking to find the eliminations, and they're gonna get part of it, and it's gonna be both Scope and Blake going down.
Now we see the ascension to the sky. This is only the beginning as these players begin to look up, because now it's time. The rifts are coming out, and these players just begin to fly.
We see Pink already 4 eliminations as the zone continues to close here. We're gonna start getting into 6th zone, and we see how many players are up above. Like you just mentioned, it is the flying time. Everyone is soaring for the skies, trying to find their own space, and the teams that are down below, we've seen them rack up a ton of elimination. Dubs and Bugle is one of them. They're gonna get a knock. We'll see if Knight tries to land on that and pick up his duo. Nonetheless, Dubs and Bugle perfectly content chilling down below. We see Cammy right next door, but Bugle and Dubs are too keen to that. Gonna start quickly taking shots at the truck. Cammy gonna walk on out, and now it is Pink and Anas hanging out in a great position to get a bunch of eliminations here.
Look, if you're Pink and Anas, you're looking up, right? You're taking shots left and right, looking for any opportunities that you can to remove some of these players from this lobby, because there are still quite a few in action. Tripper now looking to break down this other Port-a-Fort close by. Smart play on his part. The last thing you want is for somebody to land above you.
Yeah, you need to keep that high ground the best that you can. We see Anas and Pink starting to dive down the Leo. Polga taking shots up above. Cammy's gonna get a knock there in the feed. Refsguard is 1 HP. Can we connect on a shot there to get that elimination? Refsguard walks away with his life, but just barely. And now more rifts coming through. Zone continues to close. Tripper is going to get a knock there onto Anas. Hell, Nada is just barely alive, staying up, and it doesn't matter. Barely is more than enough for now. These two, potentially another massive elimination game in the wait.
Massive eliminations coming through here for Tripperin. Hell Nada, and make that another one. 3 eliminations there for Tripperin, but the eliminations are not done. Polga now picking up Dubs here and trying to pick up another one. Tripperin, though, at left as a solo player, is going to take the rift up here, and now you see these players flying in, but the real question is who's going to be able to touch the ground first.
Yeah, it looks like no one is currently on the ground. If a duo quickly drops down and looks up, they could pick up a ton of eliminations. We've seen it before. It looks like Lecce is going to be the first one to get down, along with Tripper, and so multiple solos now trying to throw players in the storm with the shockwaves. He's also throwing those boogie bombs, making players dance and get groovy with it. Tripper now finds himself a good position and just gonna hang out for now. He does not have a rift that he wants to use or even has, so he's gonna have to look for somebody else's.
You know, I think this is the play, right? Stay down to on the ground. All these other players are so focused there on the rift, and it's now time for him to clean up some of these eliminations. You see him look at this guy's healing up here quite a bit, which is such a smart way to play this. But now a player landing above using the shockwave to not only shoot himself up, but then boogie bombs Kovacs. A huge play here from him, almost connecting the elimination.
Looks like Polga and Leo are the healthiest duo left alive in this lobby. Lots of solos. We see Tripper using those shockwaves, throwing players in. Now he's going to continue to try and stay on the high ground, throwing the boogie bombs, making everyone dance down below, getting out of that car. Now he is going to be able to throw that car into an area. He has so many shockwaves at his disposal. He has to watch out. That could be a nice play. He goes right back up. Clicks is going to get boogied in zone, and he just keeps going up and making players dance.
This could be the game. Tripperin walks away with the VR. He's looking, connecting, throwing those shockwaves at any unsuspecting players here in the area. But Lecce now up in the air. 3 eliminations on the board and looking to just stay alive.
There's only one full duo left. Otherwise, it's a bunch of solos. And we're looking at every inventory. It's boogie bombs, it's shockwaves. We're starting to run low on these rifts, so fights are going to force Acorn, allowing players to come down, taking shots as he can, and we see Pink is going to be the next one in his sights along with Naiad. Acorn going to go up, start shooting right down, and oh my goodness, it is a wave of players. He throws them in the storm. Acorn's in a great position. Tripper's going to jump in too. He's going to go down, but not before throwing a boogie first. Acorn somehow still alive.
Somehow still alive, but now sent up in the air here as one of the final rifts get popped of the game. Clicks ends up going down to Storm. Polga now up there still. Lecce still up as a solo player. So many solos left here in these final moments.
And we see Acorn going to dive back down. He's going to try and find himself. Pink is 1 HP. He does go down. It's Polga. It's Laleo jumping in. He's healing his teammate. Laleo's putting out the damage. This is a beautiful play by the duo, taking shots there at Lecce. And it is a final 1v1 where they're going to be able to pick up both eliminations and win the game.
What a combination of teamwork and effort there in the final moments for Polga and his teammate. What an incredible way to finish up the game. The Chug Splash play, super effective.